Yep, I knew that was coming. Hello, everybody. I let the record show that I asked Sean if he wanted to finish his dinner before going live, and he said, "No, I'm good," and then chose to do that. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Just putting it all out there, just so it's there. Sean, what did you make? Why don't you tell these fine folks what you made for dinner?
Mac and cheese.
But not just any mac and cheese, folks.
Sour cream and onion mac and cheese. Spicy sour cream and onion mac and cheese. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. I actually had mac and cheese earlier, too. I had Kraft from the box.
I mean, this is boxed mac and cheese.
Do you have a particular brand of mac and cheese that you adore?
So I actually like Kraft a lot.
That's my favorite.
This is,
they make gluten-free now.
Oh, really? This is Annie's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think I prefer Kraft actually.
We introduced Milo Man to mac and cheese, and he's a Mac fan. He is quite the Mac fan.
Of course he is. I've never met a non-Mac fan.
I know. It's just like it's mac and cheese. You just can't go wrong with it.
I agree.
So I know that you and I answered this question before we went live, but how are you, Sean? How are you doing?
I'm good. I got mac and cheese.
You got mac and
cold
cheese.
water.
Great company.
Actually, this bar's not cold enough.
Cool. Great. Wonderful.
I've had a stressful week, but it's over. And a new one is starting. That will hopefully be less stressful.
Fingers crossed.
I got intentions of making some headway on on some maps. I want to do some map drawing this week.
Nice. Do it on Thursday.
Might even do some after this.
Ooh.
Right. And and then we'll see what happens. How was your week?
It was pretty good. I'm trying to think. Let's see. Last week, well, it was good. Like work-wise, was great. Milo Man got his flu shots and unfortunately had a fever as a reaction, so he had to stay home from daycare a couple times. So that stunk. It was really hard to see him not feeling well. But he recovered and he's back to his happy, smiley self. My tattoos have healed pretty nicely, which is great. There's that one. I think I want to go back and do a darker color for the tentacle because it's really hard to see. Like the ink bottle it came out of was like the perfect color, but it just doesn't.
That's how it always is.
It doesn't pop on my skin, so I want to make that. And then there's my Jack Sparrow one, which I'm very pleased with, very very pleased with. And then I'm not gonna put my foot up on the desk, but I have Milo's name on my ankle in my grandmother's handwriting because they're birthday twins.
Ask whose handwriting it was.
My grandma's, because he was born on her birthday, and when he turns 1 in like 3 weeks, she'll be 80. So
oh wow,
it's pretty cool.
She has very aesthetically pleasing handwriting.
Yes, she does. It's always been lovely. So yeah, that was good. And then I only am working 2 days this week because I have tomorrow off, and then I'm taking Milo to Disney for the first time, and I'm pretty fucking excited for that. My suitcase is nearly packed. I was doing that this afternoon because I'm just so excited. The big challenge is going to be getting everything through the airport with just me.
Well, yeah.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah. Speaking of excursions away from your home.
What a segue.
I'm pretty good at them, I think.
You are. Although, excursions, would you say that our last week was away from home? We weren't.
No, but you're planning for a trip away from home, which is exactly what you're doing.
As soon as the words left my mouth, I was like, nope, I see where that segue was supposed to go, but it's too late. I can't get those words back.
Cannot defeat me.
No. Nope, you're too
My
powerful.
segues always make sense,
They
or I
do.
will find a way for them to make sense.
No matter if they are the stretchiest of stretches, they always make sense. So, yes.
Or that.
So, when you and Steph did this last week, because I totally watched the VOD, but for our friends that may have missed it last week, did you guys do everything up through 29?
What?
When you recapped last week, because I'm about to recap 30, because that was last
Yeah.
week's session. Did you get all the way up through 29 last week?
No. We did 29, but we did not do anything before 29. I forgot that we hadn't done the power hour in a little bit.
Well, I don't know what the last one was before that. So
I do, and it's very far back.
All right, so we're just gonna.
So if we were to do it, Shannon, you would have to recap. Because I always know because I've got your scores. If you were to recap everything except what Steph went over, you would have to recap episode 26, 27, 28, and now 30.
Read the recaps on our Discord, friends. The link is in the description. Sean writes them for us. They're very succinct, they're very informative, and they're wonderful. So do that for 26, 27, 28.
You know what I could do real quick?
What could you do real quick? Could you give a brief recap? Or are you just gonna read read your documents?
No, I'm pulling them up as notes. I'm allowed to have notes too, Shannon.
Yes, I never said you were.
I'm not omnipotent.
You could do a dramatic reading.
No.
All right. Great. Fine. Whatever.
So, you people out there, I'm just reading. Vamp for a bit, Shannon.
Yeah. Vamping. Vamping like vampires. I'd like to be a vampire. I think vampires.
Episode 26.
Cool.
Episode 26.
You've said that twice now.
Jacquette, disguised as his criminal alter ego LaRue, went to meet up with Andres de Leon, a Leonin butcher and fishery supplier running a secret black market in one of the deeper alleys of Crass Alley. We didn't see their conversation, full conversation at least, but Jacquette began working for this criminal black marketeer. Sass and Fearn met with Lasha of the Bone Crew. Well, not Sass. Fearn met with Lasha of the Bone Rattler. Yeah. Sass watched awkwardly as she was having an existential crisis.
Yeah. That's a good.
And basically, Lasha told Fearn, "We're not gonna chase you down. We're not gonna hunt you down, but don't go on the water. If we find you at sea, we will give you no quarter." Basically, was her threat. And Fearn was like, "Come on, we ain't so bad." And she was like, "I don't think you're that bad, but Captain Alina does." And she holds grudges. Sass and Fearn convened outside and went home. Back at the Cask and Crow, Septimus and Bruce continued working on repairing Sal, but then they also made a little robot birdie for Bruce.
Named Lolly, right? They named it Lolly.
I think he gave it a little bit more of a name.
What are you doing?
His last few sessions, episode 29, he called it something else.
Lollyrock?
Lollipop. Lolly something.
I have
Lollipop.
Lolly something. I have Lollipop and Lollyrock.
He called it Lolly something on episode 29.
Great.
But anyway, they made a nice little birdie. And then they went in and joined everyone else out in the bar. The next day, they all went to Sigil to get their reward and ask for a few other amenities, as well as submitted an expense report that was a bit ludicrous, but we'll see if they ever get that money.
Jacquette will ensure that we do, don't you worry.
And Sigil said, "Well, I'll get in touch with you when I have more work." The group then head back to the Harlequin and Chalice, but while they were walking, they were deciding what they wanted to do next. They decided that they should probably investigate the murder scene potentially, but maybe they should talk to Kellen, or maybe they should take a break for a few days. They kind of didn't come to a conclusion because that conversation got interrupted by Jacquette seeing his crudely drawn face plastered all over the main street on really bad posters created by Orin, premiering Jackie Touche. His what has been thrust upon him as a bard alter ego now.
Which he has reluctantly embraced.
Yes, because it worked. People love it.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because I love it. And because I came up with it. But that's where we ended, though, was him tearing down these posters, and then seeing a massive line waiting for his performance. Episode 27, the performance.
Started with the performance.
And he did quite well. Steph rolled really well for his performance checks. The crowd loved him, but he also wove in the story of the party and calling them Iron and Mana, their new name, to try to kind of begin the legend of your party. And folks really reacted well to it. Oren loved it. And afterwards, the party got real drunk. Well, most of them did. Septimus is a teetotaler. But as they were celebrating, they began talking a little bit about their backstories. We learned a little bit about everyone for the most part. We learned a lot of people have missing people in their lives. Sass has a whole life that she doesn't remember. Septimus has a sister that he doesn't know where is, but doesn't necessarily want to seek her out, but would be happy to see her. Fearn has a brother that he would love to seek out one day. After him and his brother were exiled from his homeland, although he didn't specify what happened to cause them to be exiled, because he wasn't ready to talk about that. And then
Bruce's
grandfather is missing, but was quite old, so Bruce potentially thinks that he might be dead. And then Jacquette.
Question. I have a question.
Yes.
I'm looking at my notes, and it's saying grandfather left Koboko with his business partner, Nettle. Is that any relation to Diana Nettle?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. The Diana Nettle, the person that we that we'll get to this, but the person that we're going to check up on in Stony Heath.
Maybe there might be a connection. Nettle does sound like it's not a surname, but a first name potentially for that person. So you have to ask Bruce more.
Interesting.
But anyway, as the night was going on, a Fearbolg woman approached them, Professor Essa Hyven, to offer them work because she was impressed by the stories and thinks something that is sort of woven throughout all of these stories that I think the party should consider is that there doesn't seem to be other adventuring teams around. Like she said, we haven't had a lot of adventurers come through. We thought it would be better to hire you than mercenaries. There doesn't seem to be a lot of these sort of do-good sort of adventuring types that have come through Hyven. So people are probably more willing than they normally would be to hire you for things. Even Sigil is probably a little bit more willing to offer you work, despite you guys not having done a ton yet, which comes into play in the next session when you begin to think about. Well, that's actually the session after. But anyway, she offers you a job, 15,000 silver to Winter.
Drunkenly accepted on behalf of the party. It's very drunk.
Which is not legally binding.
No. Not legally binding in the state of Ireland.
To winter with them in a strange foreign land in the faraway places.
In the far places.
Mm-hmm.
We would leave the second week of November.
Yes. To go to Aldhalor, said to be the ancestral homeland of the gnomes.
Wisbig! Also Physic!
Mm-hmm. And all the other gnomes in existence. A place, side note, the faraway places tend to be how
is that what it's called? Faraway places? Not far places?
I keep saying faraway places, but they're called it is far places. I keep saying faraway places because it sounds better, and I might change it. But the far places are.
Oh my god, you're the worst.
The far places are basically anywhere on Aldhalor that is like no longer like heavily settled and inhabited. And Aldhalor is not as recovered from the Morrisier conflict as Gwenvalir was by this point, because Aldhalor was the main stage of the conflict. So a lot more of Aldhalor was destroyed. A lot more of Aldhalor was infested with demons and aberrations that has taken a lot longer to clear away than what happened in Gwenvalir. Gwenvalir recovered fairly quickly, although they were set back and they have a lot of dangerous places. Aldhalor is a lot more dangerous. Aldhalor is also much bigger than Gwenfleer, which I need to make like a world map, I realized, to demonstrate the difference in size. And like Aldhalor is like, it's like twice as big, I think. It's like, Gwenfleer is like Europe, and Aldhalor is like North America. Not the U.S., the whole North America. Yeah. Like that size comparison.
You got a lot of maps to make there, Chief.
I know. Anyway, the party finished up their evening and passed out. The next session, 28, we did some downtime where folks did some research, did some repairing, some building. Fearn cavorted around town. The biggest things that happened, though, were with Sass and Jacquette, where they did some crime to interrogate and
Matthias.
Intimidate a man named Matthias. Then Sass followed Jacquette invisibly, and they got into a bit of a fight because Sass mistook a moment for silliness that was very serious, and it resulted in a bit of a shouting match. But the party got back together and began discussing what they would do next. And the first thing they were going to do was write a letter to the Commodore, to see if she would be interested in working with them. Because during Fearn's cavorting, he found out that when the governor was coming into town, which he had previously found out in episode 26 from Lasha, that the governor was coming into town.
Yes, and so we are currently anxiously awaiting his arrival.
The governor?
Yes, his and the Commodore as well.
Umadori.
Commodore.
Zura?
Zura Umadori. Yeah, I have that written down somewhere.
Episode 29 that Steph recapped last week.
Yep.
Basically, the party gets their quest from Sigil.
Yep.
That is also a quest from a very pompous individual named Cadmus.
Is it
Cadmus?
That's what I thought, but everybody was saying Cadmus.
I know, his name is Cadmus.
That's right. That's what I wrote down. All right, I wrote it down. Cadmus Mavalo. Okay, I wrote Marlowe the first time, but then I heard you fix it last week.
It's Mavalo.
Mavalo.
Everyone keeps saying Marvolo, like Voldemort.
That's Marvolo. Excuse you.
When I read the books, I pronounced it Marvolo in my head.
Sorry. When I read the books, I pronounced Hermione's Hermione. So
I did too.
Here we are.
Till the first movie.
Yeah, same.
Oh, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, and then
my turn, right?
Yes, but I just want to get through 29 real quick.
Okay.
They then went to deliver their note.
Yep.
Or they did deliver their note before that. Basically, they did a bunch of stuff that they wanted to get done before meeting with Sigil, and then they left to discuss what they would do next and split up to do those things.
Yes. And so we begin session 30, which was last week. We have now entered.
Wait.
What?
I said, wait.
Oh, right.
What's your predicted grade?
Let's see. Looking at my notes. You know what, Sean? Despite feeling creatively dull, I'm gonna give myself an A. My notes look pretty good this week.
Bring some pizzazz.
Yeah, some pizzazz. Yeah.
Find the creative spark within your recap.
All right, Sean. Whew, that's a lot to do, but all right, I got this. Whew. You know what I actually did do that helped kind of get the spark going again is I got my D&D club back up and running at school, and I was pre-filling out all their character sheets with their proficiencies and all that, and so that was very fun. We have exactly 0 healers because everybody wanted to play fighter. I've got fighters, rogues, couple druids, couple wizards, couple barbarians, and a ranger.
Classic.
Yep. It's great. Anyway, session 30. We've started a new month. It is the first of Anarum now. I have it written down. It's right there. We begin the session. The party is meeting up at the Cask and Crow. and we are eating breakfast, and we decide that we have a couple of things that we need to take care of. So Jacquet is going to go and have some more. He's going to go back to the the academy. And he's going to go talk to Cadmus and try and get a read on him, because he thinks there's more information to be found out about this guy, and he's a pompous asshole just like Jacquet himself. So they're gonna vibe. They're gonna vibe. That's the word I wanted. So we split up. We start with the remaining four, Sass, Fearn, Bruce, and Septimus. We all head to the temple court. And Sean, you gave some beautiful descriptions of the different temples that were there. I very much enjoyed listening to the different sects that were there. We've got we've got the Everflame Cathedral. We've got the Sept of the Moon, where worshippers of Ilyvania gather. We've got the Noldori Collective for followers of Noldgra. We've got the Revelry of Ro, which I very much enjoyed, and I think part of that is because it stems from home campaign, but I still enjoyed that. We spent some time there later, so I'll get more into that later. There is a place called Those Beyond and Those Before, which is an ambiguous worship of dead gods in small groups that don't have a giant following. We've got the abandoned temples, in one of which the murders took place. Thank you. We went to that in a minute. I'll get to that in a minute. And then we've got the Spirit/Aradunai Temple, which is where we started, so that Fearn could chat with whoever was there. We started there to start tracking down murder information, and I have murders and Stony Heath in parentheses. So I guess we were going to see... Oh, the reason we were going there, it's all coming back to me now, is because the job that we are accepting, that Jacquet is going to Cadmus, that's why he's going to Cadmus as well, to accept the job that we're going to do is because there is Aradunai activity in Stony Heath that is has forced the cease of production at a mine that's there, and it's problematic, and Cadmus has all but told us to murder these people when we get there. But
beat them up.
Yeah, he said that. He was implying that violence would not be frowned upon. Mm-hmm. But he just wants these mines reopened for his own personal gain / there's what not.
Keep reading through your notes, because that might come up when we get to the Jacquet part.
Yeah, okay. All right. So we go into this Aradunai temple, and there's these little pools of water, and there's animals everywhere. There's Mike the soup guy, who is the
Michael Udon.
There's just animals there. Fearn talks with Samuel, the tiefling caretaker, to ask about information about the murders, as well as the Aradunai themselves. And so the information that we learned about the murders, there were 2 victims. One person was a hedge paladin named Hugo Pascal, and he was kind of a greedy person, very quick to anger, short temper, didn't seem to do jobs out of the goodness of his heart, and just was doing it for the money, and would charge exorbitant amounts of money for the deeds that he was performing. But Samuel told us that he hung around the Revelry of Ro a lot, so we're like, we'll go there next. We also learned that Martin Eskelroth was the other victim, who also hung around the Revelry because he was a tavern cleric of Revelry of Ro, a much more jovial person, and much more easy to be around than Hugo. So we also, Samuel also tells us that the murders happened in an old abandoned church past the revelry, which is not hard to spot because it's the only complete structure that is still standing. So we make a note to go there. But before we jump back to that piece, we cut to Jacquette going to the academy to talk to Cadmus about trip expenses. While he's there, he does a sneak glance on his desk to see if there's anything happening there. He's looking for legal papers on the desk that are not of the academy. And he seems to find some shipping and mercantile contracts, which looks to be the movement of weaponry and other military functions. Yep. So I think this has something to do with the mines. He wants the mines reopened for that reason. That's all I got. I don't have any other notes there.
I'm sorry, my brain just froze for a second.
I could
did
see
not
you
hear the last sentence you said.
I could see you blue screening. So I was saying that Jacquette scans Cadmus's desk and finds some shipping and mercantile contracts, which shows some movement of weaponry and other military functions. Is that the reason that he wants? Okay, then I don't have it written down.
Maybe they didn't talk about it, but it was definitely mentioned in the...
Well, actually, I have one more note. It's not very helpful, but Jacquette gets Cadmus talking about himself, and all I have is Halcyon, House Samara, and Bankos Corporation.
So not quite. These are all things that Stefan was trying to find more about Cadmus's operations, was trying to catch Cadmus in a lie, which Cadmus is not. He's a clever man. Like, he's not going to lie when he doesn't have to, basically. And, like, Jacquette just wasn't asking questions that were going to produce a lie. So he's very honest with him, actually. And Jacquette was trying to basically get him to straight up say, I'm dealing illegally. Like, basically trying to get him, like to say, I am doing a crime.
I'm doing
Which,
crime.
Of course, Cadmus, if he has been doing crime, is not going to just say, I am doing crime. Right. And then Jacquette was trying to steal those papers to get evidence, essentially, that he is doing dealings that are not, he was basically trying to find out if Cadmus was bringing Bunkos Union products into Hyven without a license. Because you cannot trade or sell Bunkos operation up. My brain.
It's illegal.
You cannot sell or trade their manifold technology without a license from them. So Jacquette was trying to see if he was illegally bringing those goods in by expressing that he would be interested in buying one from him, in so many words, which Cadmus was like, basically in every way except saying it, said yes. But without the paperwork that he was trying to steal, Jacquette has no proof to hold over Cadmus' head.
Right.
And basically, Stefan just failed his sleight of hand check to distract Cadmus.
Yep.
So unless he wanted to just dive across the table and grab the papers and walk out, like, he just didn't have the opportunity to do it. The thing you're missing.
Wait. I looked back at a previous note. I don't think this is it, but we'll see. And from my notes from session 29, saying the RA Dunai, or they're getting too raucous. They have issues with protesting. Protesting doesn't say what they're protesting. But he would like us to persuade them to leave so mining operations can resume. The Professor Diana Nettle, who is missing, her research was connected to the mines, and there were some artifacts that she found there. And is Cadmus interested in those artifacts?
There you go. Ding, 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 ding. You got there.
Yay. So
he is invested in the university's investment because the university has a deal with the mine. So it's less so like Jacquette thought that he might be getting like kickbacks from the mine, or that he might be invested in the mine, like financially. Cadmus is mainly interested in the artifacts and making sure that they come to the university.
He's something of a collector.
He's something of a collector. He's also
major Slughorn vibes from him.
He's also a celestial scholar. Like he is
I do have that
also a professor.
Yes.
Who is invested in celestial mechanics, and perhaps these artifacts are related in some way to that. So, like, there's a lot. I think that maybe Stefan was focusing a lot on failing that sleight of hand check and not seeing that you guys actually learned a lot in that session, in that interaction.
Sure. Well, I had that note from the first time we interacted with him. But yeah. So, after that, we all reconvene up in the temple court, and we head to the Revelry of Roe. A half-orc woman greets us very warmly with a hug at the door, and it's just this. I loved the way you described it. I could feel it. It was visceral. It was a place I wanted to be. It was very jovial. There was a huge feast and lots of dancing. And it just like people were happy to help and be there, and they kept telling us to eat and drink and just take part in the revelry. Saskia immediately stuffs her face and starts dancing because I've decided that she's a dancer. And she, in true Saskia form, starts, when she's dancing and they're doing some sort of partner dance, she starts asking her dancing partners, have you ever heard about Martin, the guy that got murdered? And she's harshing everybody's vibe. So that didn't go well. The rest of the party asks to see the tavern keeper, if you can call him that. He calls himself the head celebrant. His name is Reggie, and he is a goblin with a mane of white hair. And he tells us that Martin was a reveler and a bartender frequently at the revelry. Quite a nervous man. Whereas Hugo frequented the revelry often, but also was kicked out often because he stirred up trouble and just was greedy SOB.
He had a temper.
Yes, got him into trouble. Reggie tells us that Martin was trying to move his family to the city and may have been asking Hugo for help in that sense. So we're trying to draw a connection between the two of them, why they would be connected. We find out that Martin's family lives near Stony Heath, so there's that little tidbit there that we'll investigate when we take this job. We ask if there was anybody that had seen Martin the night that he was killed, and there was somebody, a young Firbolg named Max Billowgrass, and he said that Hugo and Martin had been talking, and Martin had been building up the courage to confront Hugo about something, and I have in quotations here, broken promises. That was something that Max overheard, I believe.
Yes.
And he also heard the term Oathbreaker and the phrase, they told me it would work. So these are all clues that we have to work off of now. We decide to go investigate the scene of the crime because it's still there. As on the way out, Saskia gives all of her money to Reggie to say thank you for the lovely evening and for being so kind and wonderful. And so that just further shows that Sass has no need for actual coin. So the place we ended on, we got to the scene of the crime and we start investigating.
There was another person mentioned in the conversation with Max and Reggie.
Lisa?
Yes.
Yep. I have it written down here. It was somebody who...
good friends with Martin.
Martin's, and she...
Might know more.
Yes, might know more. Yes, I have it right there.
Because they were good friends, so Max said that and Reggie said that she might have talked to him more at length about whatever was going on in his life.
Yes, so we need to find this Lisa.
And they said that she would be tending bar probably the next night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably go back. and we go to the scene of the crime. We see 2 sets of bloodstains. One of them is a spray of blood plus a pool. So and the other one is an explosion, or more like a pop. So based on the descriptions that we had heard of the murders, we presume that the first set of blood was a slit throat, which was Martin's, and the other set of blood was a crushed head of Hugo. And the working theory here is that Hugo slit Martin's throat, and then something came and crushed Hugo's head. We investigate the scene, and we learn that there's no sign of a struggle. Part of the working theory, too, is that it's probably some sort of machina that crushed Hugo's head, because there's damaged floorboards. Looks like something heavy was walking on it. Witnesses who saw this, there is a small child that may have seen this, and I believe Jacquette has asked Reardon to track down this child that may have seen this. Septimus casts detect magic in the space, and he finds a shard of something larger and metal hiding amongst the debris. And on it, it seems to be made of gold, and it's got some scratches on it that might be some runes. It might be something else. But it is a school of magic that he is not familiar with.
Yes.
So, and that's pretty much where we left off. That's where we're gonna pick up tomorrow.
What grade would you give yourself?
I think I kicked that recap's ass. I'd give myself an A.
Okay.
What do you think?
I think you got there. There was just a few moments where you slipped up a bit, but you caught yourself.
But I did, and I found the information all by myself, as I had it elsewhere.
That's true.
I did it all by
I only had to remind you of a few things, and that you had already kind of had them somewhere.
I did.
So I would give you an A.
Yay! Thanks, John. Appreciate it. I was feeling good about it. We did a lot. We did some good sleuthing last time.
Yeah, a lot of NPC interactions.
Yeah.
All right, Shannon, speculate wildly.
Okay. Well, I need a little more. Can you give me a prompt? Can you ask me a question?
What do you think's gonna happen tomorrow?
Okay. Well.
What do you think it all means?
Well, we have leads that we need to follow. We need to go find this Lisa person at the revelry, so we'll probably go back to the revelry the following day, go find her. When are we leaving for this journey? Is it
You know what's funny is every time you ask me about dates, I look at the real life calendar.
Does it say when we're leaving?
You're leaving the.
Is it like 2 days?
No.
End of the week? 2 weeks?
End of the week, basically.
Okay.
You're leaving as soon as you're done with like whatever you need to do with. Funny enough, I don't remember if Stefan actually settled with Cadmus when you were leaving. He may have, but basically you want to stay long enough to see the governor.
Right,
which is in 2 days.
2 days
Yes.
from when
Today. Whatever today is in game, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the 3rd of Anarum is when the
Yes.
governor is.
Yes.
It's less so when he's arriving and when the big.
the parade is,
debut,
because there's
the parade
speculation
and
is
everything.
that they're already there. They've been there. They're
Yeah.
just not making it publicly known that they're there.
Yes.
So yes, we want to stay for the arrival, see what's what, and see they're doing this big parade, and I'm sure there's going to be some sort of address. And I'm wondering if in this address, if they're going to announce that there's going to be some sort of how do I want to put this? Hive in itself has been pretty lawless. There's no guards, there's no really like organized government. So I wonder if part of this address the governor is going to start imposing that, and there's going to be some sort of organized government coming with and having the Commodore. I keep saying Commodore, like in Pirates. If the Commodore is going to be at the tippity top of this hierarchy, and then start appointing officials, government officials, and to start bringing order to Hyben. But I don't know for what purpose. Maybe it has something to do with the murder that we're investigating. Maybe it's for a reason that we haven't uncovered yet. Maybe they'll hint at it in this parade / general address. But I think it is safe to say that there will be changes coming to Hyven. We've already started to see some of that in the outer business, which is it's not being as seedy as it used to be. It's trying to make it look nice. Maybe there's some grief with Mr. Greaves. Maybe there's a story there, and the governor wants to put a stop to whatever he's got his hands in.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Do you have any speculations on the murder? So right now you've discovered that it's likely that it involved a machina.
Well, and it's hard to separate too, because the very first vignette of the campaign, we saw exactly what happened. Characters don't know that, obviously, but it's safe to say now that with everything that we've investigated, it was a machina. I know that Septimus had found Sal, like, out in the wilderness, right? So maybe this machina is from the same area, or was also in the wilderness and gained sentience somehow. And maybe there are others either coming or others that are lying dormant. Maybe somebody is activating them, so to speak, and sending them into Hyven to do their dirty work. Maybe it's Mr. Greaves, or maybe it's no, that's the only person that I would think.
The machina that was in the vignette that started the campaign had two distinct things that are very different from Sal.
Wait.
Sal is also like has very smooth, like he's very much like a utility built machine. This one was like beefier.
Had the golden disc in the breastplate, which is what
golden disc in its breastplate,
which is the thing that Septimus, a piece of which Septimus uncovered with his detect magic. Also had a big eye, very big eye, giant metal,
and a real eye, like a fleshy eye.
Just have that big real eye. And I have promise over the golden stone. Interesting. That's just a note that I have from the prologue. It's so funny now reading this note, because one says bartender and one says paladin. It's like, oh, we got some more information about that. I know who's who. It's like you planned it that way.
Who would have thought? Any speculations about general stuff? Cadmus?
I mean, I definitely think he's up to no good. I think he's doing his own thing and thinks he's all high and mighty, and does he have tenure at the academy? Has he been there a long time?
Probably.
So to that end, I believe that, he thinks he can do whatever he wants because he's been there for so long, and nobody's really gonna look into what he's doing because he's, a respected member of the faculty. Academy.
Oh, he also invited Bruce to the faculty parties.
Right.
That wasn't last session, it was the session before, but he invited Bruce to those.
Yeah, I definitely got horse slughorn vibes from this guy. I don't know if you intentionally designed him that way, but
I did not.
But he's got the same, like, he likes to be connected. He likes to know
Yes,
people.
yeah.
He likes
I did design that. Yeah.
collect things and connections to people and.
He's an upstart.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What do you think's going on in Stony Heath?
You know, Sean, I haven't thought about it. I haven't dedicated enough brain power to that yet, so I don't know. I do not
Fair enough.
know. I can try and think of something quick here.
You don't have to.
No, I feel bad just saying.
Well, you don't.
Well, now it's awkward.
Well, now I'm just seeing smoke come out of your head. Your computer's frying. What do you think's going on in the mind? I guess I can probably lead you a little bit to what things you could think about.
Well,
or what do you think's going on with Nettle?
So I'm wondering if she... Oh, well, first of all, I hope she's alive. But I'm wondering if she found something down there and either it was something highly desirable that somebody killed her for it, or took her hostage for it. Maybe the Aradunai did. Maybe they wanted it for whatever reason and are like not letting her go until she hands over whatever it is she found. I do think there's some sort of artifact that is at the center of this this mystery here, and maybe it has to do maybe Sean, maybe actually maybe it is a similar golden disc to what the presumed killer Machina had. Maybe it's something else that is connected to the murders there. But I think they are all interconnected somehow, and I feel like the pieces are all kind of just there's like 4 different pieces, and they're all just slowly floating together. And I think they're gonna come together when we get up to Stony Heath.
Okay.
That's the image I have in my mind right now.
Sure. Good specs.
Thanks.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm excited. As far as tomorrow, though, like the session tomorrow, what we're gonna do tomorrow. Tomorrow. Did we leave the scene of the crime, or we ended at? Are we still there?
At the scene of the crime, yeah.
We're still there.
Yeah, so you could do more there if you want to.
Yeah, so maybe we'll finish up there. Maybe Jacquette will go find Reardon and see if he can see what he's got on the kid who saw this happen. We'll go back to the revelry the next day to talk with Lisa, get some more information there. And so this will be the second of Inarum, so we'll still have a day or so before the governor arrives. So we'll probably spend the whole day investigating, maybe tying up some loose ends there. Maybe we'll get a good night's sleep so that we're nice and rested for the arrival. Do we know what time that parade is?
Would be on all the posters.
Is it midday, or is it in the morning?
It's not definitely not in the morning. It's probably around midday.
Okay. So maybe we'll do a little shopping and make ourselves look presentable for the parade. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll just have to wait and see. What do you think we're gonna do, Sean?
I think you guys are just gonna fuck off.
Oh yeah, and just abandon this whole thing.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get on the boat and go.
I think you're just gonna get on the boat and you're immediately gonna get sunk by the
Bone Rattler.
The Bone Rattler, and the campaign will end there.
All right.
Except for Sass will still be alive because she can
breathe
underwater.
Yep. And this first group of people that she's started to develop relationships with. She fucked up one pretty good, but she's working on it. And but then it's just all gonna have to start over.
Yep.
She's doing real good.
And we'll start a new campaign 30 years from now.
And Saskia will actually be Granny Brian.
Exactly. Yeah, right. All right, Shannon. I think we did it.
I think we did it. I think we did good. It was a
we did
solid
the thing.
hour.
Yeah, it was powerful.
The most powerful.
Alrighty, I think that's where we're going.
Yeah.
I just think I just got hit hard with
think you did.
sleepies.
Yeah, you did.
The mac and cheese is settled, and now I'm feeling very cozy.
Yeah. Oh. Is it cold up there?
It is a little chilly. It's
Little-
not super
little
cold,
chilly.
but cold
Yeah.
enough that
Yeah.
yeah. Alrighty, that's
So,
it.
That's it. Are we gonna raid somebody? Who's on? You got to do the raid because it does.
So
don't
many
got it.
games is on. You know why it won't let you do it? It's because you're probably not logged in anymore.
I'm not. Why does it still let me stream if I'm not logged in? That's weird.
We have the streaming code.
Yeah, and
Oops,
that's exactly
that's
why
not
it
how that
doesn't. It doesn't let me do it. But okay, so we're gonna raid. Awesome. Thank you, Sean, for starting the raid, and thank you, friends, for watching either live with us now on Twitch or later on YouTube. We hope you are enjoying our story as much as we are having fun creating it. And join us tomorrow or on YouTube whenever you're watching it to find out what happens next. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Wait, are you gonna wave? That was. You're just waving. All right. We out.